So I'll just revise whatever I have done yesterday because it is little. I felt that you people are facing little problem in understanding the same. So I'll just explain you once again briefly. Okay, so whatever I'll write only the main equations which are required. Okay, so the topic was maximum likelihood function, maximum likelihood receiver. Okay, so here what we are going to define is, see, if you just recall, the probability of error should be reduced. Why the probability of error should be reduced? Because at the transmitter end we are transmitting SA of t signal, and this SA of t is passed through the channel, and where in the channel the Wadi to white Gaussian noise will get mixed up. Okay, so I'll get x of t. Now this is given to the receiver. Okay, so the main function of the receiver is to detect the signal. Okay, to detect the signal in the sense MI is transmitted. MI is converted to SI of t and it is transmitted to the receiver. So receiver has to detect the transmitted information. Okay, so for that the detector has to design the circuit which will be able to minimize the probability of error. Minimize the probability of error. Okay, it means that, see, if I'm transmitting M1 at the receiver end, M cap is estimated, so my M cap should also be equal to M1 only. Okay, so the probability of error should be minimized. Okay, so let me are you people able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the receiver has to detect the transmitted information. Okay, so that is what the main function of the detector, receiver or the detector. Okay, receiver, when it is estimating M cap, okay, which should be equal to the transmitted one, it may do some errors. Okay, so since x of t, whatever we are getting, it is just the random function. Why I'm calling it as random function? Because w of t is a random function, because we don't know how that noise signal will be. Okay, so that is the reason x of t is also a random signal. Okay, so random signal will not be knowing the exact value, so we will speak in terms of random values. Okay, so random values, so we'll be dealing with the probability. So here what I have done, initially I've given the probability of correct decision in the sense, as I've already mentioned, if n1 is transmitted, the receiver has to detect it as m1 only. Okay, so the probability of getting the correct decision is given as PC. PC is nothing but the average probability of the correct decision, which is given by P of MI sent. MI is sent at the transmitter end. MI is sent. Okay, one second. MI sent and x received. This is what the conditional probability. Conditional probability, it means that see, this x is already received. Okay, since this x is received, I am able to identify that it is in my center. Okay, so that is what it indicates. So this is a correct probability. So generally the correct probability, see, if you just take the example of tossing a die. Okay, tossing a coin, so you may get head or tail. Okay, so the probability of this plus the probability of this should be always equal to 1. Okay, so in the same way, here the probability of the correct error and the probability of error probability and the correct probability, the total probability will be equal to 1. Okay, so in order to get error probability, it will be equal to P is equal to 1 minus PC, which is given by 1 minus probability of MI sent x received. Okay, so whatever it might be in the form of equation, always the probability of error should be less, whereas the probability of correct decision is more. Okay, so here when I'm designing the receiver, okay, receiver function is to detect the signal. Okay, so in order to detect the proper signal, the probability of error probability should be minimized. This should be minimized. I can say that either this should be minimized or the other way is PC should be maximized. Okay, either of this is true. I can just say this or this. Okay, I'm reducing the probability of error in the sense, obviously this will be improved. Or if I say that the probability of correct decision is improving, then the error will be less. That is what it means. Okay, so from this statement, what I need to do, I need to always find the probability. See, by using the equation probability of mi sent x received, x received, I need to calculate for all values of I is equal to 1 to m. Okay, because I'm transmitting m bits, so for all that, based on what x has got, okay, based on that you have to find the probability. So what I'll be saying, whichever probability is more, that will be considered as the correct bit. Okay, so for that, the optimal decision rule or the optimal condition to get the to minimize the error probability is given by probability of mi sent x received should be greater than or equal to probability of mk sent x received. This is calculated for all k is equal to 1 2 so on until m, but I not equal to k. Okay, so this I and this k are not equal here. Okay, so until for all the values of m1, m2, m3 so on like that, for all the values we need to find the probability based on the received signal. How exactly we are calculating, we'll see in the next chapter. Okay, in the next chapter we'll be calculating. Okay, so we'll be taking different schemes, modulation schemes. Based on that modulation schemes, we'll be using this formula and we'll be finding it. Right now I'm just saying that the probability of this should be greater than or equal to the probability of this. Okay, so this is said to be the optimum decision rule. I have also explained you by just considering two symbols. Let me consider the probability of m1 x1 received. Okay, based on this, if I have found the probability as 0.9 and probability of m2 x2 received, based on this, if the probability that I've got is 0.2, then I will always be is my voice clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, in between, no, I could hear that reconnection sound, so that is the reason. Like I'm getting doubt. Okay, fine. So my decision should be in favor of this M1 symbol. Okay, so that is what this indicates. Okay, so this is the optimum decision rule. Okay, based on this decision rule, we'll be able to identify which symbol is being transmitted and what. I had some network issue. Sorry. Okay. Fine. Let me just proceed. I think you're not able to see my screen. Now you people are able to see my screen, right? Are you people able to see my screen and hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So
Yes,
the
ma'am.
same, okay. So the same decision rule can be given in terms of likelihood function. Okay, so this conditional probability density function is said to be the likelihood function. So we have already got the equation for that likelihood function as fx of x is a main vector. X is nothing but x1, x2, so on, xn. Xn. This is a observation vector x which we are going to receive at the receiver end. Okay, so this x is a sample of this observation vector. So x given mi is equal to ln of the not ln like it is nothing but pi I is equal j is equal to 1 to n. It is nothing but the conditional probability of individual element. Okay, individual element of this observation vector. So x1, x2, so on, xn. So instead, I can just write as xj. This is nothing but xj. This is also xj, like where j is equal to 1 to n. Okay, so this is the sample value of this observation vector x. Okay, so this equation is fx of x given mi is equal to pi, j is equal to 1 to n, fxj, xj given mi. Okay, so this is what the log likelihood function. Okay, so the same log likelihood function after you know that this xj whatever we are getting, it is nothing but sij plus wj. Okay, so since xj is equal to sij plus wj, wj is the Gaussian random variable. Since this is Gaussian random variables, even xj will be the Gaussian random variable. Okay, so for the Gaussian random variable, the probability density function is known to us in terms of mean and variance. So it is given as fx of x is equal to 1 by root 2 pi sigma x. Okay, sigma x exponential power minus x minus mu whole square divided by 2 sigma x square. This is what the formula for the Gaussian random process. The equation of the Gaussian random process is generally the Gaussian random process will be in this way. Okay, so the equation of the Gaussian random process will be given in this way. So where sigma x is nothing but the standard deviation. See, variance and standard deviation is related like this. Okay, so sigma x is equal to standard deviation. Okay, so or I can say that sigma x square is equal to variance. Okay, sigma x square is a variance, so root of that will be the standard deviation. So here I need to take root of the variance. Okay, and in the same way, this is mu is nothing but the mean. Okay, again sigma x square is nothing but the variance. Okay, so the same formula I have used where sigma x have substituted as n naught by 2 because root n naught by 2 because the variance of xj was nothing but n naught by 2. Okay, so I need to have just sigma x, so it is root n naught by 2. In the same way, this sigma x square I have replaced with n naught by 2 and mu I have replaced with sij. Okay, these all I have already derived. Okay, so using the same formula and substituting those values in this, we have finally got as see, almost it's like I'm doing from the beginning because yesterday I could feel that you people, most of you were blank. Okay, so generally xj of small xj given mi is given by 1 by root pi n naught. See this using that Gaussian formula I have derived. I have shown you also that derivation also I have shown you. That's what instead of sigma I have substituted n naught by 2 and here in the numerator xj minus mu xj is nothing but mean of xj which is nothing but sij divided by 2 sigma x square. 2 sigma x square in the sense sigma x square is nothing but n naught by 2. So 2 will get cancelled. So I will be just left out with n naught. Okay, so this I have to substitute here. Okay, so this is just for xj. So if I want to calculate for x1, this will be x1. Then x2, this will be x2. So I need to take multiplication of everything. So when you multiply and simplify it, the final expression what you're going to get for this likelihood function, this is said to be the conditional probability density function, or it is also said to be the likelihood function, which is derived by using the Bayes theorem. Okay, so I'll not go in detail how to get all this. Okay, but otherwise this is called as likelihood function. Okay, so fx of x given mi, which will be equal to, see, after simplification and all, will get as pi n naught whole power minus n by 2 exponential minus 1 by n naught summation j is equal to 1 to n xj minus Sij whole square. Okay, this is said to be the likelihood decision rule. Okay, but see, and one more condition is this likelihood function should be maximum. Okay, so if this is maximum, then it will lead to the correct decision rule. Okay, so for that reason, this function, whatever likelihood function I have represented here, this value should be maximum. Okay, so only we are going to, we have represented it as maximum likelihood function or maximum likelihood receiver. Okay, so we need to maximize this likelihood function. So in order to maximize it, like I will just do some mathematical analysis and I'll show you what should be the decision, how the decision will be taken, and based on what the decision will be taken. Okay, if you observe here, all other parameters are constant and it is just depending on xj. Okay, so we'll just see how it is depending on xj exactly. Okay, so for that reason, since logarithm function is the increasing function, will take log on both sides. So fx of x given mi is equal to, take log on both sides, ln on both sides, pi n naught whole power minus n by 2 exponential minus 1 by n naught summation j is equal to 1 to n xj minus Sij whole square. Okay, so this should be maximized when k is equal to I. Okay, this value should be maximized when k is equal to I. That is a condition. So even if I write I here or k here, it doesn't matter. Okay, I is equal to k. Okay, so in that only when I is equal to k, we need to maximize this likelihood function. Okay, its value will be maximum when k is equal to I. Okay, so again you simplify it, you'll get as ln of x of x by mi, and all this we are doing to maximize this likelihood function. So it will be equal to minus n by 2 ln of phi n naught. This is the first term, and the second term will be ln of a b can be represented as ln of a plus ln of b. Okay, so when you just simplify it, finally you'll get as 1 by n naught summation j is equal to 1 to n xj minus Sij whole square. Okay, so if you observe, this is a constant value because n by 2 ln of pi n naught will also give you some constant value, ln of that will also be some constant value. This minus n by 2 into that value will also be some constant. So this entire thing is constant. Okay, here if you just check, xj is a variable because we don't know what is the exact value of xj. So since xj is a variable, like there is a lot of network issue today. I'm sorry for the same. Okay. Hope you people are able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Also, this is a constant. Okay, so this is a constant, and here we the only option to maximize this function is we have to minimize this. Okay, because I have some constant value. Maybe some I have taken example also 10 minus. If this is increasing, then the overall value will increase. Okay, overall value will increase only when this is decreasing. So now what is the condition? Anyway, 1 by n naught is a constant. I'll just take only this part, okay, which is nothing but summation j is equal to 1 to n xj minus sij whole square. Okay, only if we are minimizing this, you have to minimize this. This should be minimized. Only when you minimize this, your log likelihood function ln of x given mi will be maximized. Right. Okay, so since it is depending on this, we'll just try to find out the decision rule from this only. So for that reason, what we'll do, we'll just expand it. J is equal to 1 to n xj minus sij whole square, which can be represented as j is equal to 1 to n xj whole square minus 2 xj sij plus sij square. Okay, so this is what the expansion. Take the summation to each term. So it will be j is equal to 1 to n xj square minus 2 summation j is equal to 1 to n xj sij plus summation j is equal to 1 to n sij square. Okay, so if you just observe this, this is nothing but the energy of the received signal, received vector or signal, received vector. Okay, so this is nothing but the energy of the received vector, which will be some constant value. Okay, and one more thing, it is not depending on I. Okay, it is independent of I. Okay, here as I've already mentioned, only when k is equal to I, that decision rule, the log likelihood function should be maximized. Okay, so anyway, this is independent of I. So the same thing what I'll do, I'll just reiterate as minus 2 I'll take common, so that I'll have summation 1 to n xj sij minus 1 by 2 summation j is equal to 1 to n sij square. Okay, so after this, as I've already mentioned, this is nothing but the energy of the received signal. Okay, and this is nothing but the energy of the transmitted vector. Si of t consists of si1, si2, so on like that. If you just recall, the geometric representation of sit is represented as si1 is equal to si1 phi1 of t plus si2 phi2 of t, like that, so on, right? So this sij is nothing but the vector, the transmitted vector. Si is nothing but si1, si2, so on, sin. Okay, so it is nothing but energy of this si. Okay, so let me denote this as ei. Again, this will be some constant value. So this can be written as 1 by n xj square minus 2 times of summation j is equal to 1 to n xj sij minus half ei. Ei is nothing but energy of the transmitted signal. Okay, so again, as I've mentioned, this is anyway constant, which is independent of x item. Okay, so anyway, this is a constant. So what I'll do, I'll just take only this function now to determine the log likelihood function. And one more thing is here, what I need to do, this summation j is equal to 1 to n xj minus sij whole square. This should be minimized. They should be minimized. If I have to minimize this, how should be this value? This value should be maximum, because this is some constant value. Okay, this is some constant value. So if a constant value, let me just take the same example. If this is increasing, okay, if this is increasing, this will decrease. Okay, so that is the reason this should be maximum now. Okay, so I will take the this as j is equal to, this is a final reiteration. Okay, reiteration of the maximum likelihood function, because if this has to be, I'll just come back. If the log likelihood function has to be minimized, maximized, then this should be minimum. If this should be minimum, then this should be maximized. Okay, so final reiteration of the maximum likelihood function is given like this. Okay, so this is, let me denote this as yk. Okay, so here if you observe, this value should be maximized. As I mentioned here, if this is maximized, this will be minimized. So this should be maximized. Okay, and one more thing, if you observe, this is nothing but the energy of the transmitted signal, and this is nothing but the inner product of the received vector and the transmitted vector. Okay, so I can just represent it as x transpose s. Okay, so this is a maximum likelihood function in order to get, and the condition here is for k is equal to I. Okay, k is equal to I. Okay, so this is a maximum likelihood function to have the correct decision. Correct decision in the sense, I'll just take one example and I'll show you how it will be done. Otherwise, is this clear until this point? This is all repetition only. I have not, nothing is there that I have told you newly now. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Others also, please respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Kavya, Deepshi,
Yes, ma'am.
are you understanding? Everybody, are you understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have already sent you the notes. You can just go through that notes also. Okay, so here I'll just show you one example. Okay, so here I have told you that based on this condition, we will be identifying which bit has been transmitted. Okay, so for that, to explain this, let me see whatever vector I'm getting here. Okay, x is a vector which we are going to receive, right? So that's what, Noma. See, after passing x of t through the correlators, we are going to get xj. Xj is nothing but x1, x2, so on, xn, which is nothing but, this is nothing but the observation vector x. Okay, so using this observation vector, okay, we'll be finding the correct decision will be taken based on this maximum likelihood function. Okay, so here what we need to do is, I'll just take one small example where the number of symbols that are transmitted are 4. Okay, and the number of orthogonal functions are 2. Okay, so in the vector space, we'll be able to divide the area into equal number of message symbols. Okay, and if that particular xj, whatever you are getting, if it falls in that particular region, then the decision will be taken that m1, see, this m is equal to 4 indicates I have m1, m2, m3, m4. Okay, so what we'll do, by using the maximum likelihood function, we will find out yk. Okay, so if yk value is falling in that particular region, then the decision will be taken in favor of m1. If the yk value is falling in this region, then we will take the decision in favor of m2. In the same way m3, in the same way m4. Okay, so that's what the application of this we will see in the next chapter. That time it will become more clear for you, but here I'll just show you how the decision will be taken. So let me consider this is a, see, I have n is equal to 2. It means that I have phi1 and phi2. Phi1 of t, phi2 of t, two basis orthonormal basis function. N indicates the number of orthonormal basis functions. Okay, so I'll have 2 basis functions. This is my signal space. Okay, in the signal space, I have 2 orthonormal basis functions which are forming the coordinates phi1 of 2 and phi2 of t. Phi1 of t and phi2 of t. If the number of symbols that are generated m1, m2, m3, m4, we'll consider them. we'll consider them to be equiprobable. Okay, we'll consider them to be equiprobable. Equiprobable in the sense, see, the probability of this and the probability of this and the probability of this and the probability of this will be same. Okay, so if you assume that they are of equal probability and with equal energy as E. Okay, if the transmitted signal. See, in the first classes only I mentioned that SI of t should be the energy signals. Okay, so let SI of t or S1 of t, S2 of t, S3 of t and S4 of t are having equal energy as E. Okay, so then see, I have 4 bits that are transmitted. Okay, so this is my signal space. Let me denote the signal space as Z. Okay, now what I need to do, if I want to make the decision in favor of M1, I should have some decision region. In the same way M2, in the same way for M3, in the same way for M4. So this is the overall signal space. So this overall signal space, what I need to do, I need to divide into 4 regions. Okay, so the division will be done in this way. One second. The division will be done in this way, where the entire vector space or the signal space is divided into 4 regions. So the division is done in this way. Okay, the division is done in this way. So if this region I'll just name as Z1, this region I'll name as Z2, this region I'll name as Z3, and this region I'll name as Z4. Okay, so 4 symbols are transmitted, so I have 4 regions. Okay, so whatever yk I'm calculating, if it falls in this region, okay, it can be any value. That yk value can be anything, right? So if it is falling in this region, then the decision will be made in favor of the first symbol. Okay, if it is falling in the second region like this, then the decision will be in favor of the second region, the second symbol. See, if yk, whatever you are calculating, if it is falling in this region, then the decision will be made in favor of M1 symbol. Okay, if the yk value is falling in this region, the second region, then the decision will be made in favor of M2. In the same way here M3, in the same way here M4. Okay, so this is what this is how the decision will be taken care. Okay, how exactly the decision is taken and how we are able to divide this into this 4 regions and all, we'll see in the next chapter, where we'll be applying this concept there. Okay, otherwise, since I have 4 symbols, I have divided the region into 4 portions. Okay, and since I have n is equal to 2, it indicates that I have 2 orthonormal basis function which forms the vector space coordinates. Okay, so this is phi1 and this is phi2. Okay, so I have divided the entire area into 4 regions. Okay, if it is falling in Z1 region, then the symbol will be in favor of M1. If it is falling in Z2 region, then the symbol will be in favor of M2. If it is falling in Z3 region, then the symbol will be in favor of M3. If it is falling in the Z4 region, then the estimated value will be in favor of M4. Okay, so this is what will happen. This is what we need to calculate find out the maximum likelihood function, and based on the maximum likelihood function, the regions, if it falls in that particular region, the symbol will be taken, the decision will be taken in favor of that particular symbol that is transmitted. Okay, so that is all related to the maximum likelihood receiver. This maximum likelihood receiver will be implementing it in the correlation receiver. I'll go for that in a while. Until here, if anybody has got doubts, you can ask me. Hope this is clear to all of you. And this is said to be the decision boundary. This is said to be the decision boundary between Z1 zone and Z2 zone, or Z1 region and Z4 region. Okay, so this is how to find these all we'll see in the exactly in the next chapter, because here I'm not defining what is M1, what is M2, what is M3, what is M4, so that what will be a SI of T, S2 of T, S3 of T, S4 of T. So here I'm just introducing how it will be divided, that's all. Okay, hope this is clear to all of you. This is clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now I'll go to the next topic. So in the exam, if they ask you to explain about maximum likelihood receiver, then you need to write until here. Okay, and if you observe this, as I've already mentioned, this will give you the inner product of Xj and Sij. Okay, so from the same thing, I can even write, where is that? 1 second. This one, this I said that it should be minimized, right? If you observe, it is nothing but the subtraction of Xj minus Sij, okay, which can be represented as mod double parallel line X minus, once again, X minus Si square. Okay, so it is nothing but the length of the vector square. Okay, so if you just try to represent it in the signal space, if this is your X, if this is your Sj or Si or Sk, so the distance square, from here to here, it will give you the distance. Okay, the distance square X minus Si square. Okay, the lesser this distance, the more will be X and X and Si will be matched. Okay, so this length should be minimized. That is what this implies. This condition implies. Okay. Okay. So now we'll go to the correlation receiver. Correlation receiver. Okay, this correlation receiver will come into the picture only when all the symbols S1 of t, S2 of t, Sn of t, Sm of t are equiprobable. Okay, when they are equiprobable, we'll be able to design this correlation receiver. Okay, and this correlation receiver or the maximum likelihood receiver, whatever it is, okay, the receiver which you are designing, it should always minimize the probability of error. It should always minimize. It should always minimize the. It should always minimize the probability of error. Okay, always whatever receiver you are designing, the aim of that receiver should be, it should always minimize this error. Okay, it should always minimize this error. Okay, so when it comes to the correlation receiver, it consists of two subsystems. The first one is said to be the detector or decoder. Okay, detector. The second one is maximum likelihood decoder. This is detector and this is decoder. Okay, it consists of two parts. One is a detector and the other one is decoder. And here we are taking maximum likelihood decoder. Okay, so we'll see how the detector will be. This diagram is not new for you. You have already seen. Okay, so Si of t, it is transmitted through the channel so that I'll get X of t. Okay, so this X of t should be given to the multiplier, where one input to the multiplier will be X of t and the other input to the multiplier is phi1 of t. It should be given to the integrator so that it will give x1. Okay, so this is nothing but the correlator. Okay, so the correlation receiver will have bank of correlators. Okay, so then to get x2, I have to multiply xi of t with phi2 of t. This equation is not new for you. I have already shown you this equation, this diagram many times. dt, so that it will give you x2. Okay, in the same way, so on. I have to give this. X of t to phi n of t and pass it through the integrator so that I'll get xn. Okay, so this entire thing is nothing but the observation vector x. Okay, so x is nothing but x1, x2, so on, xn. Okay, xn. So this is what will happen at the detector phase. Okay, so whatever I have been explaining you from many days, this is what the correlator. Okay, and as I've already mentioned, you have one more part in the correlation receiver, that is nothing but maximum likelihood decoder. Maximum likelihood maximum likelihood decoder. Okay, so this is designed using our YK. I've derived YK in the previous topic. So YK is nothing but summation summation J is equal to 1 to n xj into skj minus half ek or ei. Anything is fine. Ek or ei, both are same only. Okay, so this using this maximum likelihood decision rule, will be designing this maximum likelihood decoder. Okay, so here what is that? I'm getting xi. See, xi in the sense, see, these are nothing but xi, right? x1, x2, so on, xn are nothing but xi. Okay, x1, x2, so on, xn is nothing but xj. Okay, so this entire thing is nothing but xj. Okay, where j is equal to 1 to n. Okay, so here by using this maximum likelihood decision rule, we'll be able to design this decoder. So first let me draw the diagram and then I'll explain you. So we'll get the observation vector x. Okay, so that vector x should get multiplied with x should get multiplied with skj, sij, anything is same. Okay, k is equal to I here. So if I'm writing I here, I should write I only here. If I'm writing k here, I should write k only here. Okay. Let me write I only, because from the beginning I was writing I. Okay. So S1, multiply it, and see, it should be multiplied so many times. I'll just expand this equation first, so that when I implement it will become easy for you to understand. Yk is equal to x1 okay, yk, k I have taken here, so I'll take here also k only. So y1 is equal to summation j is equal to 1 to n x1 s1j minus half e1. Next y2 is equal to, okay, let me expand this. Expand this, so it will be x1 s11 plus x2 s12 plus x3. Oh, sorry, x1 is fixed, right? x1 s11 plus x s12 plus x1 s13 plus x1 s14, so on, minus half e1. Okay, so here addition of all this should be done. Okay, this will give me y1. In the same way, y2 will be equal to x2 s21 plus x2 s22 plus x3 s23. Okay, in place of it was like this, no? J is equal to 1 to n s x1 s I xi s xj. I'm doing wrong. Let me just redo this. Let me do this again. In order to implement this function, let me expand and write. Okay, that's what I just want to do here. Okay, so y1 is equal to summation j is equal to 1 n xj s1j minus half E1. Okay, so this expansion can be represented as J values I need to substitute. So x1 S11 plus x2 S12 plus x2 S13 sorry x3 S13 plus x4 S14 so on xn S1n. Okay, so I have replaced I value J values. I value I have taken as 1. Okay, so in the same way y2 will be equal to summation J is equal to 1 to n xj S2j minus half E2. Okay, this is what the second equation. So it will be xj x1 S21 plus x2 S22 plus x3 S23 plus so on plus xn S2n minus half E2. Okay, so this is for y2. In the same way for yn, in order to get yn, it will be summation j is equal to 1 to n xj. Okay, k value it will be until m, right? I value will be until m. Okay, so yn will be equal to summation j is equal to 1 xj s yes, there is that initial equation. Yes, mj smj minus half em. This is the third, final equation. So this can be written as x1 s1 sm1 sm1 plus x2 sm2 plus x3 sm3 plus so on plus xn smn. Okay, so this minus half em. Okay, so again all this should get added. All this should get added until this point. Okay, so here also all this should get added until here. Okay, I missed minus half even. Okay, so this I need to implement. Okay, and here if you observe, here I need to take x1, x2, x3, x4 like that, and that should get multiplied with s11, s12, s13, so on like that. Okay, so for that reason I should have the multiplier. Okay, so when you are drawing the maximum likelihood function, this is my x. X will contain all the values from x1, x2, so on, xn, xm. Okay, xm, all the values until xn only. So until xn I'll have all the values. Okay, so that should be given to the multiplier. So that first I'll multiply it with s1 vector. S1 vector. If you just recall s1, si is nothing but si1. See, x is nothing but x1, x2, so on, xn. Si is nothing but si1, si2, so on, sin. Okay, so here si is nothing but I is nothing but 1. So s1, for s1 the values will be s11, s12, so on, s1n. Okay, so if you just observe the first equation here, x1, x2, xn is getting multiplied with s11, s12, s1n, so on like that. So just see the first equation. See, x1, x2, x3, the vector x is getting multiplied with s1 vector. S1 vector. This is my S1 vector. So I will multiply x with S1 vector, and I need to add all of them. So I will put a summary here, or accumulate. Accumulate in the sense it will add all of them together. Then after that I'll get the I'll get this portion. This portion I'll get. Okay, minus ek, half ek also is there. So it will be summation. Here I'll get x transpose s vector, and here I have to give half even. This and this should get subtracted with each other, so that I'll get y1 here. Okay, in the same way, next, in order to get y2, I need to first multiply x with s2 and then accumulate all of them, and add that to half e2, subtract that to half e2, so that I'll get y1. Okay, in the same way, so on like that, I'll have sm here. Okay, sm here, because this sm corresponds to the m transmitted bits. Okay, x should get multiplied with sm and accumulate, and then subtract it from half em. Okay, so that I'll get ym. Okay, so my aim is not to just get y1, y2, ym like that, but what I need to do, I need to take the decision towards the correct symbol. Okay, so here what I'll do, maximum likelihood decision rule, maximum likelihood decision rule to select target. Okay, it means that, see, as I've already mentioned, this should be, where is that? This equation should be, this should be maximized. Okay, based on this maximum value, we will decide which bit is transmitted. Okay, so what this maximum likelihood decision rule will do, it will take all the values y1, y2, so on, ym will be taken by this maximum likelihood function, and it will give the estimate m cap. Okay, so if this y1 is greater, then the m cap will be in favor of m1. If y2 is greater, then this maximum likelihood will say that m2 is transmitted. In the same way, if this is greater, okay, so it will select this ym value and it will say that the symbol that is transmitted is mm. Okay, so that is what the use of this maximum likelihood decoder. Okay, so this is the maximum likelihood decoder. So when you want to build the correlation receiver, first you will have this part, okay, and that will be connected to this, so that it will estimate m cap. This is all related to the correlation receiver. Okay, that's all with respect to the correlation receiver. In the next class, we'll go to the last topic, okay, of this module. Okay, so anybody has got any doubts here, you can ask me, otherwise the class is done for the day.